Hey guys, time for a new adventure. For once, I'm not driving. It's Jayesh that's driving, and we on our way to Giant's Castle to go sit in the Vulture Hide in the snow for a week. Well, almost a week. We're just getting to Harrismith and the Bergview one stop now. So we've been on the road for about 2.5 hours maybe. We've got another 2.5 hours after we stop, and we're meeting Prasheen at the Giant's Castle Resort as well. So guys, the route from Johannesburg to Giant's Castle takes about 5.5 hours or close to 6 hours, depending on the weather and the traffic. It's a pretty straightforward route all the way from Joburg to Harrismith and then on to Escort. And then at Escort you off ramp and you take the road that leads you to Giant's Castle. There's I think 1 or 2 turns along the way, and then basically the road ends at the Giant's Castle Resort. The day we were driving down was cold and wet and rainy. There had been snow predicted for the whole weekend, but luckily when we were driving it was just rain and not snow, so Van Riemen's Pass was open and we could get through. The roads all the way from Escort to Giant's Castle are tarred, so there won't be an issue with needing a 4x4 or anything like that. Although if it does get too bad with the snow, you could need a vehicle with a 4-wheel drive or at least a little bit of traction to get in to the resort itself. So if you're coming up from Durban, just like Prasheen did, the road is a bit shorter. The route is a bit shorter to get to Escort. It's about 3.5 hours, I think. And then that last section of road is similar to the route we took. Lots of potholes, so it made going tough for Prasheen. But, if you take it slow, you'll be able to navigate it quite easily. Okay guys, quick overview of the accommodation we have. We've got a mountain view unit, so fireplace, TV, and a small lounge, dining room. Don't mind the mess. All of the camera equipment is here and our box we take up to the hide. Then a small kitchen with a stove, microwave, fridge, kettle, etc. They do come through and clean every day, so you can get them to come clean. So this sleeps 4, so 2 beds facing out, and you can see this has the mountain view. When we arrived on Saturday, the mountain was covered with snow, so if you are traveling when there is some snow around, it's quite a nice view that you have out onto the Giant's Castle section of the Drakensberg. Bathroom with the shower and a bathtub, and then the second bedroom, which then looks out onto the garden. So quite comfortable accommodation. It's been cold, so starting the fire and having the fire was quite good, but otherwise lovely view out and pretty decent accommodation and quick access to the hide. So getting up to the Vulture Hide from the Giant's Castle resort is not too bad, but it does have some challenges. It's about 3 kilometers before you get to the turn off to get to the road that will take you up to the Vulture Hide, and then you're on a cement double track which does get quite steep in places with some speed bumps like we found out on the first day. Morning guys, so we are making our way up to the Vulture Hide. So far the track is all cemented 2-track road, so it's not dirt but it's quite steep. It looks to be cemented for most of the way, but we'll have to see how it goes. Jay is doing a good job of navigating the treacherous drive up. So it's a bit wet this morning, so just taking it carefully. That was a high speed bump on the road, so I don't think a sedan or anything like that would make it up here, get stuck on that speed bump. There's quite a few of these speed bumps actually. Like that one. Oof.
It's time. Yeah, but if it's icy, I would not attempt this one.
Yeah, I think going up if it's icy is maybe not the problem. Coming back down. Ooh. Okay.
You can't avoid that, right?
Here's the ground woodpeckers.
Where?
They just flew past. Then once you're at the top, you just get to a fork in the road and you go left along that. Then the cement road actually ends and you on a dirt track for another, I'd say, 1.5 kilometers before you get to the Vulture Hide itself. When you get to the Vulture Hide, you'll see the toilet on the right hand side, and then the parking is at the top. You can park at the top, or you can park next to the toilet to avoid any glare from the vehicle disturbing the birds. Again, on the first morning, it took a little bit of figuring out to find out which way to go, because the board wasn't clearly showing which way to turn.
I don't know where this is going. I'll go left.
I would go straight, huh?
Okay, let's go straight. Jay, just open the left window. I just want to see if I can see a familiar sign. Both are going up there. Okay, let's go straight. We can always come back. If
Wait, hold on. The arrow is that way.
Oh,
go
yeah,
back.
yeah.
The arrow is pointing
the
that
arrow
way.
is that way. It's got some other kilometers there.
Just be careful.
Oh, there's a jackal.
Wait.
There, in the grass.
Oh shit, yeah. What kind, bro?
It must know that if a car goes up here, there's going to be bones later.
Yeah, I probably told it so. What is it? Blackback?
Yeah, there's a blackback jackal.
Blacker? It's quite bigger.
Yeah.
It is an adult, right? It's an adult.
Yeah.
Not a lighty. Okay.
Normally they park in pairs, so there must be another one somewhere. Okay guys, so this is the parking that the signs direct you to, and then that's the view from the top here where we're standing at the parking. And you feed just down there on that ledge to the left. So when you are approaching the hide, you have to go towards the right, because the steps going down to the hide are just this way. So here's the steps leading down to the hide. It is a bit wet today, so they are a bit slippery, and if you are carrying camera equipment, and there's a missing step as well, if you are carrying camera equipment, it could become quite a hazardous exercise. here's the hide, and then Jay and Prasheen are in the hide already and set up. What's up, guys? Okay. So the hide is about a good, 3 meters by 2.5 meters, I'd say. So there's enough space for 3 of us, shooting out the front of the hide. Putting in one more photographer may have been a squeeze, but it's possible. But yeah, I think 3 is ideal. Okay guys, so we're setting up the hide now. So we were trying to figure out how we open up the shutters, but the latches are actually on the outside, so you have to come around the front of the hide. How's it, Jay? How's it? You can open up your curtains, don't be shy. Okay, so Prasheen's got the bones that they give you. You're not allowed to bring your own bones because these bearded vultures are critically endangered, and they don't want to get any like chemical contaminants or anything else in. So the Giant's Castle Resort actually provides bones to you, and those are the only bones you must use. So Prasheen is going to put out some bones at a couple of spots, and hopefully we'll get in some bearded vultures especially, but any of the other vultures as well would be great. Bearded vultures specialize in eating the bones of animals, so just right here on the edge.
Well, top tip is always put the meat where you can get a clear background.
Yeah.
So I'll put the onion right here. If you put it there, you can get the sticks.
Yeah.
There is 2 vultures coming towards us. Oh, they're flying away now.
Flying away.
Yeah.
Oh. So the vultures are out already, guys, and it's just before 7. So if we can get this meat out, maybe we can get them to land and get a few shots. So the best light for shooting is quite early, so you have to be there before 7 already. In the winter, in the summer it'll be even earlier, and then as it gets brighter you lose the light very quickly, so you're only spending the first half of the day in the hide. So this is the furthest ledge from the hide. You can see the hide in the distance there. There is a dead, either a zebra or horse, we're not 100% sure. So this is the ledge that the vultures land on quite often. Yesterday we had one down there, and then a little further down there's another ledge they land on. So if you look, the road down there is, I'd say, about 200 to 300 meters below us, and the vultures come along this ridge and they look at all the meat that's out. Oh, there's one up in the sky. I don't know if you'll be able to see him, so he's just doing a flyby, juvenile. So they fly around along this ridge, and we hoping that they come in and land here. Then we can get some shots as they land and then as they take off as well. So yeah, our first batch of meat is out, and we'll just get back to the hide now. You will be handling raw meat if you come up here, so bring your disinfectant and your hand sanitizer. We've got wet wipes and tissues and stuff. The first day we did put out some meat right here in the front for the smaller birds, which could be a strategy, because if you've got the smaller birds up here, when the vultures do come into land, you don't have them in the picture. But unfortunately, you can't control where these small guys go. Okay, back into the hide now. We set up and ready. Just have to wait for the vultures. Okay guys, so I just want to show you quickly where we get the bones in the morning. So we're back down at reception. So this is sort of the main entrance to the reception, and when we come to collect the bones in the morning, there's no one around. So what they do is they leave it in a little storage room around the corner here. So you walk as if you were going towards the restaurant. The restaurant serves breakfast daily, and then a light lunch and supper. And then you come through. There's a mock-up of the hide built here. And then there's a little storage cupboard that is used for the bones. Don't know if you'll be able to see, there's one of the bone buckets in there. So if there is someone going up to the hide, they leave the pack of bones in there, and you come and collect it on your way out before reception is open. Every day they give about 10 kilo of bones, and they do recommend that you do not bring your own bones, because there could be chemicals that could then poison the vultures and cause issues that you don't want to be responsible for on a species that is so critically endangered. So as a photographer, I think I always approach some of these trips with a great deal of trepidation, because from social media you'll know what the pictures people get at these locations are, because I think all three of us, Jayesh, Prashin and myself, all followed the different birding pages, so we do almost know what to expect, and there's that pressure of almost getting the shots that you've seen and replicating those shots. But with wildlife, you can't control how the animals behave, and therefore you can never say what you're going to see or what interactions you're going to get, or whether the birds are even going to show up to start off with. But I think if I recall the 4 days that we were there, we had brilliant sightings on all the days. The first morning started off very cold, and the mist set in after a little while, and it looked as if there was only going to be small birds, and then suddenly a juvenile came through and landed, and we were kicked into action. And then later on in the day we had several flybys of both juveniles and adults, and then we had an interaction between a juvenile and an adult that had landed before that. It was all very quick, but I think we managed to get off a few shots and get a series of shots, of that interaction. We had jackal buzzards almost on all 4 of the days. I think 3 of the 4 days we had jackal buzzards that landed, took the meat and flew off. The first day I didn't manage to get any shots of the jackal buzzard, except when he was stationary. Jayesh and Prasheen, I think, got the shot of him walking towards one of the bones before picking it up and flying away. But on the second morning, we got another jackal buzzard that came through and gave us quite a good show, and I managed to get several shots off that I quite liked as well. We also had on the third day a yellow-billed kite come through and give us an opportunity to take photos of it. And we had Cape vultures fly past, as well as the bearded vultures of all ages, the juveniles and the adults. I think all in all it was a brilliant 4 days spent in the hide. I got my heart's content almost of photographs, and just even seeing the bearded vultures was brilliant for me, because as I think I said earlier on in the video, these birds are critically endangered in South Africa. The South African population is some 350 individual birds and an estimated 100 or so breeding pairs, and they take between 6 and 7 years to mature. So even though the breeding pairs have a chick every year, it then takes that chick 6 or 7 years before it can breed. So it's a very slow growing population, and the vulture hide at Giant's Castle is almost critical in ensuring the survival of the population in South Africa. There are other populations of bearded vultures in the world, I think in Spain and Ethiopia, but the South African population is critically endangered because it's isolated and only occurs along the Drakensberg mountain range. So, on the KZN side, maybe down into the Eastern Cape and across the border into Lesotho. The hide itself, by feeding these birds, provides a critical resource in the winter when the bearded vultures are breeding. The adult vultures usually eat bones, and during the summer they're able to actually find sufficient forage to survive, but in the winter when they are breeding, their chicks eat meat as well. The feeding that takes place at the vulture hide is almost critical in ensuring that the chicks grow up to be healthy adults and ensure the survival of this particular population of birds in South Africa. So yeah, it's one of those trips that I will definitely look to do again. Whether I do it in the winter, I'm not too sure, but the winter months are the best months to visit. And then you have like the background of the snow-capped mountains of the Giant's Castle. And maybe I'll try and take tours out. So if you are interested, my details will be in the description. So drop me an email and maybe we can plan something together and get a trip going. Perhaps not as a photographic guide, but someone who knows the area and knows how to get up to the hide, etc. While we're on the topic of photography, maybe it's good to mention the equipment we were using. Prasheen and Jayesh are both shooting with the Canon R5 at the moment. Prasheen has his 500mm f think it's a f4 lens, Mark 1. JH has a 600mm f4 lens, which is I think a Mark 2, both EF lenses that they're shooting adapted on the R5. I was shooting with my A9 and the 200 to 600 mil G lens from Sony. You need that length on the lenses because a lot of the time the birds are landing quite far away, so you need at least that 600 mil. So yeah, thanks for watching, and yeah, let's look forward to the next video now.